Everybody, welcome back to Simply Amazing. There's been so many things happening with the Wagner and Darkholm family, as you all know, and I am personally excited to talk about the most powerful sapphic couple right now in Marvel Comics. It's Destiny and Mystique from the X-Men, of course, who are
Yes.
arguably Kurt Wagner's parents. Obviously, as you
Yes.
just heard, there are two of us here. I'm Lauren, your friendly neighborhood bi. Very excited to talk about my gays, and I've got my amazing, fantastic, ecstatic co-host here with me as well.
I am Lisa, the OG Nocturne, or just Nocturne. You can find me anywhere. And I do want to just say one thing. I agree. They are the most powerful sapphic couple in Marvel, but I'm just going to go ahead and remove that sapphic bit and say they are the most powerful couple, period, in Marvel right now.
I love it. I love it. You're
Period.
so right. You're so right.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, I mean, like, yes, they're the, like, agreed, they're the most powerful sapphic couple, but they are the only sapphic couple. So I'm just going to take that out there and just say they are the most powerful couple, period, because they are about to basically. They're just. So what I love about Mystique and Destiny right now is that basically the X-Men have been Magneto and Xavier, Professor Gaslighter's game, basically for the past 60 years. It's been their game. Like, mutants have been their game. They've been in charge of mutants on either side, good or bad, for the past 60 years. And Mystique and Destiny are like, guess what, bitch? Not anymore. Sisters are doing it for themselves, and they have shown up with their freaking. They're just walking in like Beyonce, and they are taking over, and I am here for it.
You know, I always think it's hilarious. When we talk about, like, not straight couples, and we're like, oh yeah, the sisters or brothers, like, I totally know you meant by that. I know you didn't mean that, but it's just
Oh
hilarious
no,
because it's like, if somebody hears that out of context, it's like, no, they are romantic, and it's amazing, and I'm completely with you. They hold the entire Marvel universe in their hands right now, literally both of them, but specifically Destiny, because if you know anything about Mystique and Destiny's dynamic, their relationship, even before they were canonized as a romantic couple, which they showed them from the start, but that's not Claremont's fault. That was Marvel and, comic authority crap that we'll go into.
Jim Shooter.
Yes, but they Mystique is such a simp for Destiny. Such a simp. That is all she cares about in the world. She cares about Destiny, and she cares about what Destiny cares about. And so we're gonna go into just a little bit today about the brief history behind the two of these individuals, and how they became a couple.
I just want to point out how much Mystique cares about Destiny. Mystique has given birth in 616 to two children that we know of for sure, and has murdered one of them and attempted to murder the other one. Like she doesn't even give a shit about her kids. But she will go to the ends of Earth for Destiny. Destiny is the only person Mystique cares about.
Well, and typically the only time she really does care about her kids, and usually people go for she cares about Rogue, but again, there are times she doesn't care about Rogue. The only time she really cares about her kids are because she feels like she has to, because Destiny cares. It all comes back to
That's true.
Destiny. And
that
yeah,
is true.
so, I personally want to do a little episode about these two and how they evolved a little bit, because they have been around for decades, literally decades together. And we still don't even have that much about their history. We haven't seen a lot of them behind the scenes, in part because Destiny was dead in comics for so long, and also in part because they just weren't treated as a real couple because of the comics authority being like, no gays, and also because even when the comics authority loosened up on that, Marvel and the X-Men and the writers and all these creators just didn't give these two the focus they deserve, and now they're finally getting it. And I think it's important that we talk about why they are getting it and why it's absolutely necessary and
Oh
beyond
yeah.
time for.
I mean, I think a lot of it had to do too with, there's just so much editorial stuff. I mean, so you have the editorial mandate back in the day that like no gays allowed, right? So there was that. Then by the time there that editorial mandate was gone, there was a new editorial mandate that it was like, well, dead means dead. So it just seemed like nothing was ever lining up that could actually make them canon, like a canon couple, until now where finally like those both editorial mandates no longer exist. So now finally Hickman can bring them back. And it's funny, I mean, I can't imagine what it must be like to not be an X-Men fan and like see Twitter explode with like pictures of like this woman with a gold mask and a blue outfit and being like, what the hell is this? Like, what? Because if you're not an X-Men fan, who is Destiny? Like, who the hell? Like, she's never been in, like, she's barely been in any cartoons. Like, she was in X-Men Evolution and she looked like a soccer mom. Like, maybe she was in the original cartoon, but for a second. Like, she's never been in any of the movies. So if you're not an X-Men fan, you know nothing about this. But yet, if you're an X-Men fan, this is like the most important resurrection, period.
It is, and it's a resurrection that again doesn't just affect the X-Men world or what X-Men fans care about. This can affect the entire Marvel universe.
Yes.
Potentially could, if they write it correctly because of how powerful Destiny is and what she gets Mystique to do for her because Mystique and her are such a thing. So let's talk about where this comes from. So when they were originally in comics, they Mystique and Destiny kind of came together under the nuance of they both wanted to protect mutant kind. They both wanted to make sure mutants reigned as supreme as possible, but not to the extent of Magneto necessarily, just that they could survive and live in a way that they could thrive and all these other things and protect mutants from other human bullshit, and all these are mutants that would think otherwise, such as Xavier and the X-Men. They don't believe in just that. They want to actually live with the humans, whereas Mystique and Destiny are like, no, like, why should we do that? The humans are terrible to us. And so it's very interesting because so many people nowadays even see Mystique specifically as a villain that's just a villain. She's just an asshole. She doesn't care about anything. She actually cares about mutant survival because that was a forefront of her relationship with Destiny. That's how they bonded and that's how they decided to stick together, believe it or not. And then with that came the whole, oh crap, she actually simps over Destiny now. She follows her everywhere. Destiny tells her, hey, this is going to happen. Do this for me. She says, okay, with her tail between her legs and goes and does it without a second thought. But for years, as we talked about, they were seen as just like, oh, they were roommates kind of thing. If you're in the LGBT community, we know how that goes. Oh, look, but they're roommates, and they were roommates. And so a lot of it, you see.
No, that's just Raven's friend. That's just Raven's good friend. Like,
right. Oh, specifically the word they used was, oh, her Raven's old friend Irene Adler.
Old friend.
Are you kidding me?
Yes.
They co-parented together. So once they started hanging out together, working together, because oh yeah, we have this vision for mutant kind, right? And they start trying to do these things. Destiny has her powers. Mystique's like, okay, cool. I'm going to respect and do you. Then she starts simping over her. So then Rogue gets in the picture, and let me tell you, Destiny is actually trying to be a mom to Rogue. Actually wants to protect her, and Mystique is like, oh, well, babe, I only care about you, but oh, you care about this kid? Oh, all of a sudden, Rogue is the most important thing as well. I got you, babe. I will protect her from anything and anyone, even though Mystique really doesn't care.
Yes.
It's absolutely wild.
Mystique only cares about Destiny. So here's the thing about Mystique. I have like kind of a feeling about her in that she's so old at this point that I think she kind of emotionally has kind of evolved past caring about like interpersonal relationships in a lot of ways, because a lot of people she probably cared about in her early life are dead. Like any early relationship she had as a child or growing up even before, like, this is the thing, we know nothing about who Raven Darkholme actually is. We don't know anything about her,
Right.
or him. We know nothing about who Raven Darkholme is. Was Raven Darkholme born female, male? Who knows? We don't know
We don't even
anything.
know, and it's pretty much guaranteed that that's not the name she was born with.
Yeah, probably
And
not.
furthermore, we don't know about Irene's past either. We don't know how she was born, why she has the power she has, really. Like, unless somebody does know stuff that I don't know, like, please come yell at us on the Twitter and Discord, because I would love to know if you know more about this thing than I do. But like, we really don't know about these two, and so the fact that we don't know about anything about these two, and then the fact that they were just roommates and old friends for so long, even though they co-parented together, even though all Mystique thought about was Irene, like back when they still did thought bubbles all the time in comics,
Oh my gosh,
like
yes.
every freaking thought she has is, oh, Irene this, oh, she said this, oh, but what would she think if I did this? It's like, girl.
I want to say, I mean, this just came to my mind. I want to say that I think a lot of Raven's love for Irene, I think her fascination with her has to do with the fact that, like, I think Raven is like super jaded just in general by the world and by life, and like she's lived so many lifetimes at this point. Because again, agreed, we can all agree, like she has not lived one lifetime. Like she is as old as Wolverine, at least. Like we can
Yes.
all agree on that, you know. So she has lived more than one lifetime, and I think she's one of those people who is so jaded by what she's seen, and like I think Wolverine is also kind of jaded by what he's seen, but like Wolverine's on the other side where he's jaded by what he's seen, but he's willing to fight for the good. Whereas Raven's like jaded by what she's seen, and she's just like, well, fuck everybody. Then I'm just like, like fuck you all. I'm in it for me. And but the thing that Destiny gives her that like is so different is like Destiny, I think, actually gives her hope, because
Yes.
Destiny can see different paths and different ways and different futures. And I think that I think that's a big part of like the relationship between Destiny and Mystique, is I think Mystique, before Mystique met Destiny, I think Mystique was operating on a lot of that jadedness. And when Mystique met Destiny, I think Mystique probably had hope for the first time that like, wow, we can come out of this, and good can come of this, and you know, something can change. Mystique knows that Destiny has the answers, and the fact that they won't bring her back, like, why would you not bring back the person who has the answers? That makes no sense.
Well, and I agree with you on the fact that I think a lot of the reason Raven is so loyal to her and wants to be loyal to her, and that she's attached, and that's she's pretty much the reason she lives Destiny at this point.
Yes.
I think it's so interesting because I do think that at the start Raven was like Logan, where she was jaded because she did actually, again, her and Destiny bonded because originally Raven saw in Destiny what she was feeling at the time, which was she wanted to do something for mutant kind.
Mm-hmm.
And that was her motivation. Like, it actually was. People forget this. And so they bonded over that. But then it turned into, oh, I could give a fuck less about everybody. They can all burn. But you, I would burn for. Like, that's basically how she feels about Destiny. And so Destiny not only is the only reason she really feels the will to live most of the time, but I don't think it's just because of her powers, even though yes, that is helpful. And originally that might have been a reason why they started to bond, because she knows Destiny had the answers and stuff like that. But at this point, she wanted her wife back. And that's been never
Yes.
said when she says that. She doesn't say we need the person that has the answers. She just wants her fucking wife back.
Yes. Oh, I want to be clear. Like that, this, what I'm saying is only part of it. You know what I mean? Like the main thing is, you know, she wants her wife back. I mean, this is the woman she loves. Finally, you know, I can't imagine what it must be like to, you know, be alone and be a loner, and kind of have come to terms with being alone for the rest of your life, and then knowing that you can have the one person you're in love with back, and then being denied it over and over again, and then but then being told that you can have it if you just do this thing, and then failing over and over again, you know. And like the thing is,
and
like,
and you're set up to fail. That's
yeah,
the
you're
worst
set
part. They
up to
set her
fail.
up to fail because they never will give her that. And so yeah, I see these people all the time on Twitter and shit being like, but Mystique this, but she threw her kids over. Shut up. She wants her wife.
Like,
Some people, that's all they care about. I'm not saying that's a good thing, and I'm not even saying it's right, but oh my God, that is a very human emotion. That's all she cares about in the world. And frankly, with Mystique and Destiny, I love how they are as a couple, because in the past, like issues from decades ago, there was there were issues where you kind of see where they potentially could have first met, right? Where Raven shapeshifts into a man to dance with Irene in public so that nobody bats an eye because, homophobia and stuff. And you see moments where they both basically admit that Raven has a fondness for Irene in her older form. And Irene actually has a great moment where Raven shows, like, yeah, look, if I turn into my her true form of being blue, then everybody freaks out. And Irene's not phased at all. Even if she can't physically see her, she can feel her skin. She hears Raven's description. She's like, no, I love you that way. And like that level of acceptance is something Raven, I don't think, ever had before that. Like literally ever. She never had that level of acceptance. And again, I like the comparison to Logan because if you think about it, whenever a character like Logan has somebody like Jean has been in the past, like other women have to him, where they just fully accept him and he melts. That's how Mystique is with Destiny. And she gets such a bad rap because she's a woman villain. That pisses me off. She is the same fucking way. She just wants to be accepted. And yes, she's a mess and all these things, but Destiny is that for her. And not only is Destiny that for her, but Destiny could potentially lead mutant kind. Mystique and Destiny could replace Charles and Magneto, as you said earlier in this episode. They could be the new Magneto and Charles, which is also hilarious because then that also implies that Magneto and Charles are a canon couple, which Marvel still won't say, even though they need to say that too.
I mean, I've said this in an earlier episode. Like, I never really bought on to Charles and Magneto being a couple until the most recent issue of one of the issues of Trial of Magneto, where basically like Charles is like imagining him in a bed, and I'm like, all right, clearly this is happening. Like, all right. But yeah, here's the thing. I don't want Destiny and Mystique in charge of the X-Men because that's also a disaster. Like, it's all a disaster. Like, here's the thing. This, you know what? Here's the thing. It's time to let the kids in charge. It's the same way I feel about politics in general. Enough with the old white guys in charge. Let the kids be in charge, okay? Charles, Magneto, Raven, Destiny, retire. Go to Boca, get a condo. The kids will come visit every once in a while. But let the next generation take over. Okay, enough. You're done.
Destiny and Mystique can't do that because Destiny can see what's going to happen and everything, and she sees all the timelines and all these things.
Maybe she should see a girlfriend in their son's future so he can be happy for once. Maybe they should see that.
I would love that. I'm all for that. And I think it's hilarious how much that Mystique and Destiny were contextualized as parents, but they weren't allowed to be a couple, and they weren't even fully contextualized as a romantic relationship. Like they weren't fully contextualized as that until 2019. It's 2021 when we are filming this episode. 2019, History of the Marvel Universe #2 came out, and that is where we first see them kiss on panel.
And you know what? And it's so funny you say that because you're absolutely right that they never contextualized that they were a couple, that they were in a relationship, that they were dating. However, it was always 100% clear that Rogue called both of them mom. Like, that was always clear. So, what? What a weird way, what a weird thing to decide, right? Because, it's because show me the adoption agency that's just two random friends want to adopt a kid. Yeah, that sounds good. Right. What adoption agency is going to let that happen? I'm just going to walk in with my BFF and be like, yeah, we're not married. We're not planning on getting married. We don't live together, but yeah, we want to adopt a kid together. We can't even adopt a dog. Are you kidding?
This is my best friend, and I love her to death, but not in that way. No homo. But I love her, and we want a kid together. I'm sorry, what? And that is hilarious. That's fine.
Could you even imagine? Could you I just imagine the adoption agency being like, but you're not gay though, right? You're not.
But that was Marvel editorial and the Comics Authority, by the way, because we blame Marvel editorial. Marvel editorial is the reason that it lasted so long in Marvel Comics, the not showing gay stuff and letting gay couples and stuff. But it was also a thing that originated from a higher authority than just one publisher. And why? How did you guys think that made sense?
It's so funny. It's so funny. Could you just imagine that coming through the editorial and the editorial being like, married? No. Scratch that out. No, they're roommates.
Love
Oh,
is love.
they're adopting a child? Okay, fine. Keep going.
Right. Like, oh, being married, a loving relationship, unacceptable. Oh, being roommates and adopting a kid and having them call her mom, but oh, they're not married? That's fine. That makes sense. What?
It's crazy.
And
It's so funny. It is so
it
funny.
is.
I love it. I
And
love it. I
I
love every
just,
minute of it. You know what? I have a feeling that this is something that Claremont managed to get past Marvel editorial that they never noticed. I have a feeling that like Rogue called Irene and Mystique mom in like two different books or something, and that's how it happened. Because
it's
like
possible.
there's just no way. It's just this is hilarious, and I'm loving every minute of this. I love this,
It's
guys.
great.
This is amazing.
And I'm so excited to see, like we've talked about, everything Mystique and Destiny do. If you haven't checked it out yet, I guested on the X Awards podcast.
Yes, go check that
Amazing
out with
podcast.
Ash.
And yes, Ash had me on. Ash is great. We had a great time talking about the Darkholme family reunion. It has to happen, and I would love to see a panel where both Kurt and Rogue call them both their parents on panel at the same time. Like, I'm ready to see it. And I'm also excited because Claremont is getting a chance, right? Potentially could happen in February 2022. The Marvel Legends issue number 12 is coming out with a new story from the past, basically, and it has to do with Mystique and Destiny and what they do with Kurt and Shadowcat and what happens when Rogue is potentially dead, apparently, stuff like that. But this is Claremont's chance. Now he can write them as a couple back then. He can literally put on the page that back then they were married or engaged or some shit.
Oh my
Like, he can
god.
fucking do that. Like, bruh, I'm so ready. I want to see it so bad.
I can't wait. I can't wait. I want to actually before we wrap up because I know we're getting close. I want to just touch base on something you mentioned a minute ago, which we were saying that like people on Twitter are like, she threw her baby off a cliff. How dare she be happy? I'm going to just point out to those of you that very baby she threw off a cliff voted for her to be happy. So just
Yeah,
saying, guys, just saying, you're outvoted by literally the baby. So
thank you. Exactly. And, I feel like at some point we need to do a whole episode about the whole Mystique and Cliff crap because y'all,
oh, we're going to talk about that.
that's the only thing y'all use against her nowadays. She's done so much more stuff that's somehow even worse than that, even though that is very bad. And yet that's the only thing y'all go to. Please give her a break. We know who the real parent is. It's Destiny. Can we talk about Destiny, guys? Please. I'm tired. We've all talked about Mystique for years and we will continue to, but oh my god, I don't know why not everybody's screaming about Destiny.
We're going to start screaming about Destiny, and we're going to keep talking about Mystique, and we're not going to give her a break, because you know what? She did throw her baby off a cliff, and she did murder her other child, and granted, he was an awful racist, but you know what? You should have raised him. I mean, that's your fault, honey. Like, you gave birth to the kid, and now he's a racist. Here's the thing. There's 30-something years in between where you could have done something about that, honey. That's all I'm saying. So, and then you murder him.
Then she had to deal with the loss of her wife and shit, so she's grieving. Come on now, she's also got trauma to deal with. Anyways, that's no excuse for dealing trauma. But
I'm just saying, when you bring a child into this world, you have a responsibility to do something about it. Is all I'm saying.
Oh, for sure. But there's so much more. There's so much more to that situation alone. It's not as simple as that. But anyways,
we will eventually have a Great and Creed episode. It's going to happen eventually. We're going to have to get to it.
I'm really excited. And I really would also like to see, now we're talking about Mystique's terrible parenting skills, I would really love to see on panel, like, Mystique be like, oh, well, I did this. I had Kurt do this. And Destiny's just like, honey, I know we have a goal, and that technically achieved our goal, but you've got to do better. Like, I'm telling you right now.
This just reminds me of my all-time favorite panel of Mystique ever, which is from Messiah Complex or Second Coming. I always confuse which ones, but it's the one of her holding baby Hope and she's saying, I'm very good with children. And it's like, girl, I use that. I have it saved on every computer I own because I use that as a reaction image so many freaking times because it's like, girl, no.
It's hilarious.
I know at least one person who's going to disagree with you because you threw him off a cliff. At least one.
It's right. And I mean, yeah, I'm really excited to see what happens with Destiny in particular now that she's back. And again, now that Mystique doesn't have any reason to just say, oh, but my wife's gone, so now I feel bad. Oh, now she has no excuse. Her wife is there. And I'm interested to see, again, if Destiny will say things like, oh, yeah, Mystique, you went a little too far here, hun, but it's okay. Or if she's just like, yeah, you did, you did. Like, if how much of a villain Destiny can really be, because I don't think we've ever seen how much of a villain Destiny herself can really be, and what her true motivations are and why she has them. And so now that she's back and she's such a prominent character now, I'm very excited to actually learn more about her and all that good stuff.
Oh, it's going to be good. And you know, the old saying about the wrath of a woman scorned. I mean, that's a very
Mm-hmm.
misogynist and sexist saying, but let me tell you, Destiny's coming. She's coming for everybody, and you know, I'm here for it. Everybody's gonna burn. And you know, here's the thing: it's not like they didn't do this to themselves. Like Charles and Eric, like that. Going back to Inferno #2 for a second, like that whole scene where Charles and Eric are bringing Emma into the fold, and like that whole. I don't know about you guys. That whole scene, what I was reading was like. I just felt like it was the Three Stooges, like Charles, Moira, and
I
Eric were the
mean,
Three Stooges. I felt like it was like incompetence, and Emma was walking into. It felt like that scene in Community where he comes back with the pizza and everything's burning. I felt like Emma was walking with the pizza, and it's just like this. She's walking into like a circus, and she's like, "I'm not touching this. I'm gone."
a cell block tango is coming up, guys, because Destiny and Mystique are coming through. They're dealing justice. It was murder, but not a crime. He had it coming. They had it coming. It's happening, and I'm thrilled.
They had it coming. They had it coming. I love it. I love it.
That's exactly what's happening. And on that note, guys, this has been a great time. We just did a quick overview of Mystique and Destiny. If you guys enjoyed it, please let us know. Find us on Twitter. Find us on our website, simplyamazingpod.com.
Dot
That's what we
com.
dot
Yeah,
com. Yes, come
simplyamazingpod.com.
find us there. All our other links are there too. Tell us what you think's going to happen. Do you think that they are going to go full force with Destiny and Mystique going ham with the Marvel Universe, or do you think it's just going to be lived with Hickman? Interested to hear your thoughts on that. You can find me on the Twitter at friendlymBHDBI. And yeah, Lisa, where can we find you? Where are your last thoughts?
You can find me on Twitter at the OG Nocturne. That's NACHTURNE. Yeah, I'm here to hear all about it. Oh, and by the way, guys, as the holidays are coming up on our Discord, we are going to be doing another fanfic and fan art challenge, and there is a cash prize. So please come find us on Discord. You can get the link through our Twitter or our Facebook or wherever. Just come bother me and I'll invite you. Yeah, come like write a story for us. We'll probably be posting the information about it around like the next, I don't know, around Thanksgiving time. I don't know. I'll post it soon. But you'll see it there. Yeah, cash prize, guys. Can't miss that. You can't miss out on that. And yeah, this has been awesome. Like, I'm so excited that you guys are listening to us. If you love us, find us, click us, follow us, rate us, review us, give us 5s, give us everything you love. Tell us what you love about us. And don't forget to be simply amazing.